Hi, I'm Nader Sahuni.
And I'm Nancy Vitaco.
We're both therapists, and we'll be talking about social skills in this series and giving you a chance each time to practice a role play together. The first two or three are going to be relatively easy. Then the next three will be a little bit harder. Before we get started, let us tell you a little bit about us. Like we said, we're both therapists. We knew each other actually as undergrads back in the last ice age. I was in IV, Nancy was in crew. We ended up reconnecting 12 years ago when I joined the counseling practice that Nancy was a part of. As for my story, personally, I'm from the Middle East. I grew up in Beirut, Lebanon. I came to the US when I was 14 years old. I loved coming to the States, and I enjoyed everything about being here except for one thing. For a few years, I had significant difficulty trying to make friends. It was a little bit lonely. It seemed like everything I knew about how to be social was different here, and it took a while to learn all of those nuances. So I have a heart for helping people learn the skills of building new relationships. Nancy?
I'm Nancy. I grew up in Nebraska and I moved to Illinois to attend college. Throughout college and since graduating in 1984, I've worked professionally with students in a variety of settings, including churches, inpatient psych units, in my counseling practice, in schools. I've had my own challenges with friendships over the years, and I just have a real heart for helping young people form meaningful connections.
So, as far as the work aspect, most of my work in therapy focuses on helping people with anxiety. And one of the things about anxiety is that the more we avoid the things that we're anxious about, the more anxiety increases. You see, when we avoid something, at first we may feel a little bit better, but what registers deep in our brain is that there really is something to be anxious about here. So we become more anxious about it the next time around. It's as if we're training our brains to actually be more anxious. If on the other hand, we're willing to hang in there and do what we're anxious about anyway, the anxiety may increase for a short while, but then it's going to go away. The more we practice the social skills that we might be anxious about, the less anxious we become and the more confident we become. But even though I can talk to you all day about anxiety, Nancy is actually the expert here on social skills, so I'm going to let her get us started.
Okay. Today, we're going to work on the skill of striking up a conversation with someone we don't know. Before we get started, though, I want to challenge you to always be thinking about the other person, noticing, learning as much as you can about them. This will be true for our exercise today and for each of the coming sessions. There's also a caution here, though, about overthinking or focusing too much on your own thoughts or your thoughts about others and their thoughts about you. That's a recipe for self consciousness, insecurity, social anxiety. So don't overthink it. Just focus on the goal, and that's to show care and love for the other person, like Jesus does. So now we're going to show you how to do the role play for today. Here's the scenario. Two students are standing in line in a dining hall. I'm going to be speaker one. Nader will be speaker two. I notice the line isn't moving. And I see you, Nader, person in front of me, looking at your phone and sighing. I'm observing all the nonverbals. Man, I can't believe how long this line is taking.
Yeah, I know. My next class is at the other end of campus. I hope I can make it on time.
Good luck with that. This line is always so long. Do you usually come here at this hour?
Yeah, most of the time.
I'm pre-med, but I'm majoring in French. What's yours?
I'm a chemistry major, but that's a cool combination you've got. How'd you land on that?
Oh, I thought it would look good on an application for med school. So notice, I broke the ice with a generic comment intended to build a connection over a common interest. In this case, waiting in line at the dining hall. I was listening for an interest. I noticed something I could start with. Nader was stressed about time. I followed up with a natural but non intrusive question, sharing a simple personal fact. This prompted a little laughing together to form a connection. So, to summarize, there's a total of three things you could use. First, try to notice something about the other person that you can comment on that's not too personal. So, nothing about appearance or attractiveness, for example. That might come off as a little creepy. Second, ask a question that's not intrusive, like, what's your major? And third, share a simple fact. And of course, you don't have to use all these three, and you don't have to use them in this order. These are just suggestions. You can use whatever feels natural to you.
So what we know from the scriptures is that Paul talked about this in Philippians, about our attitude as we interact with other people. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. So now it's your turn. Go ahead and pair up. All these exercises are going to be in pairs, so find a partner. And remember the three tools that you're going to use. Notice, ask, and share. First, notice something about the other person and comment on it. Second, ask them about themselves. And third, share something about yourself. You can go ahead with the role play. Like I said, find a partner. The two of you are standing in line at the cafeteria and the line is moving slowly. The second person in line needs to strike up a conversation with the person in front of them. After you do it once, stop and share how it felt to be on either side of the conversation, then switch roles and do it again.